Welcome to Bella's Crochet Gifts. I'm Bella. All right, so today I have a finished objects and works in progress video for you. I know this has been a long time in the making because May was crazy, so we have a lot of things to share and talk about. First off, if you remember, I was making a king-size blanket for a person that my husband works with. He got married, and it was like, oh yeah, they got married. And I was like, I was gonna make them a blanket. So I quickly made a blanket. So here's the picture. This is the Square Diamond Granny Throw by Chyrstal's Connection, and it is in the color, the pinkish purple was Big Twist Orchid, I believe, and the green is a Hobby Lobby Crafter's Secret Big Idea in the color I'm Jealous. And I had a few issues with this this blanket because I thought I remembered how the pattern went, and like I did a quick review of it, and then I ended up making the first diamond side, like when because you make a square and then you start at the center and then diamond out so that it becomes like triangles, and I did not leave enough space. Like I was going from one loop to the next loop and it was curling in on itself, and I was like, this doesn't look right. So I had to pull out some sides and redo it. And then I kind of figured out where I was going. But her pattern is really good because it shows you up close each, or like steps of the way. And I should have looked at it closer, but it was just, I need to get this done. I need to do it fast. And then I ended up having to frog part of it anyway. But it all worked out and it's beautiful. And my husband just barely gave it to them. So I'm like, it's a little late, but also in my defense, I completely forgot and he completely forgot. And it was like, oh, by the way, we're married. Doesn't that happen? It happens. Okay, so that was my first finished object. Quite a few of these are going to be in picture form because they have already been sent away or gifted. The next item I have is here's a picture. And I think I have two other pictures, so I'll do those over here. It is the Mouse Doorstop by Tracy's TLC Creations. This is a paid-for pattern. I was commissioned to make this by a friend of my mom's. She wanted this doorstop and I thought it was super cute, and so I went ahead, bought the pattern, and made this item. I actually made it, or I started it twice. I misread part of the pattern and half of his nose was gray and half of it was pink, and I was like, that doesn't look right. So I have a mouse head floating around with a half gray, half pink nose. Go figure. Anyways, he turned out super cute. I don't know. It was really fun to make. I did put what kind of beans was it? I think I did pinto beans. I think I did pinto beans in him. I weighted his head and his bottom, and my husband's like, that's not heavy enough. That's not heavy enough. So I was like, okay. So I used like half a bag of beans on this thing, and that door is not going anywhere. But he turned out super cute. And I was actually inspired. I had seen, periodically, I've seen bookmarks where it's the squished animal, and I was like, I can revamp that and turn it into a small squished animal. And that's what I did for a bookmark that I made for my mom. I have it in the book and then some iterations of it as well. So I revamped that into the squished mouse bookmark, which I think is super cute. I was going to try and freehand one of the frogs just because I'm like, I could totally make that. And then I had started the mouth and the tongue, and then for some odd reason it disappeared, and I found it later under the couch. So I was like, you know what? We're just gonna take this pattern and make it small. It'll be fine. So I did that, and I think it also turned out super cute. I love the little bugged out eyes. Those are adorable. And then I was on Facebook, and I don't think I can find it again, but I okay, it was on Hobby from Denmark's Facebook page, and all I can tell you is the creator was named Rebecca, but it's this star, and it was like, oh, that's super cute, and it just had like a little video of her making, I guess it was just a reel or something, and then they reposted it or something. I couldn't find any more information. I just took some pictures of the instructions because it was super easy. But I made this bookmark for my mom in case she wasn't like, okay, the mouse is funny, but it's not very practical because the inside part is, you know, some double crochets and stuff. So it's not going to lay the flattest if your book is not heavy duty. And the one I gave her for Mother's Day was the book in the picture. There's actually a story behind that. So I had texted my mom saying, you know, this is a new book series that I kind of heard of, and it might be up your alley. So I was going to send her the first one for Mother's Day. Only I forgot to change the thing in Amazon, so it sent it to me instead of her. And so I was like, well, I might as well just make her some bookmarks to go with the book. So that's what I did. And then it all just kind of worked out, but it was just like, okay, she might not use the mouse. She could probably display the mouse. It's pretty cute. So I went ahead and made the star one as well, because I'm like, that's a little bit more practical. It's just a chain, and then you star at one end and a little bubble thing at the other end is what I did. So that was another finished object. And then another one. So this is a wrap that I made for my grandma. And it, actually, I think I have two pictures. It is made out of Karen Cloud Cakes in the color, I believe, raspberry. I got a whole bunch of these when they were sold to Ollie's. It's a discount store, like they buy excess merchandise and stuff. And I think I bought quite a few of these. I used, let's see, I think I used pretty much two full cakes. I held it double so that it was nice and thick, because I wanted it to be a warm shawl. And this is a modified version of Cinnamon Stitch's Mulberry Street shawl. Instead of doing granny squares, I did a solid row and then window stitches, so that it would still be you know, mimicking that, but it was a little bit different appearance. So I started a top, and that's later in this thing. I think it might be the stitch pattern from the Starry Night blouse, which I'll be showing you in a little bit. I think it might have been that I based part of that on. So it was like a combination of those two patterns in order to get the way I wanted it to look. And then, you know, I just did the sides out like the Mulberry Street shawl, and it worked out really well, and I'm pretty excited about it. Let's see. I forgot something. One second. Okay. I forgot this in the other room. So the next thing I have is called the Sway Cardigan. It is a free pattern on Premier's website. So I had started this a couple of months ago, and and then I had problems with making the sleeves match, and I was like, okay, You are going in timeout. So here's the back and the sleeves. Here's the front. I'll put it down. So I ran into some issues with it. So I used, I think, a little bit bigger yarn than they suggested, because they suggested, I believe, a 3-weight, and I used a 4-weight. So it's a bit big, and it also was like, I basically, when I got to the part for the sleeves, I basically did a rapid decrease so that I could get it to fit my arms more snugly. I have made this once before, and I just kind of let it go, and it almost was like a bell sleeve. So I like this better. I did have some issues with the bottom portion. I apparently, somewhere in the middle, I started just forgetting stitches at the end of the row. And so it's like kind of at like on each side. I don't know. I'm like, I could pull it out, or if I position, I think it's this way. If I do it this direction and like put a thing here and like a thing here, like a toggle button or something to hold it in, and then it just kind of flares out a little bit in the front, I think that'll work just fine. But I was like, do I really need to rip out like 15 rows? That would suck. So like, I like how this part all looks. Yes, I have ends I have not sewn in. I was debating whether I needed to pull out any rows or anything, but I love this color. This yarn is the Mandala Ombre by Lion Brand. Isn't that pretty? I had bought this a while ago, and I'm like, I need the perfect, you know, the perfect project for it. Something that I will definitely wear and get use out of. So this is the color Harmony. It is a medium weight number 4. It is 5.3 ounces, 150 grams, 344 yards, or 315 meters. It's machine washable and dryable, 100% acrylic, made in India, and calls for a 4.5 millimeter needles and a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook, which is what I used with this, which is what hook size I used with this cardigan. And I think that's about it. Anyways, love the color. This yarn was so squishy and beautiful to work with. I loved it. It was so much fun. So I think I'm ready to sew in my ends and call it a day. Yeah, I had one, like, I did one sleeve and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna remember. I didn't remember, and I ended up with like a huge sleeve, and I got to like down here, and I was like, it looks terrible. What did I do wrong? So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna decrease a whole bunch. And of course, I'm like doing all the decreases under the arm so that you're not gonna see it. And it ended up being a decently fitted sleeve for my arms, because the other one, like I said, it's just like, it's like down here. And I'm like, that's a lot of bell sleeve. It looks kind of funny. All right, so there was this one, and I've been telling you, I've been on a wearables kick. So this one is finally pretty much ready to be done. And what was it? I think 2 days ago, I started on another sweater. Yeah, I did. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm like, okay, I found this cute sweater with the same person that I'm doing the where is it? the Starry Night blouse, which I will show you after this one because it was underneath. This is the Cloud Sweater by Katia. No, I'm sorry, by Katerina. Sorry, don't know where I got that. It's called for a 5-weight, and I decided to make it out of Karen latte cakes. I also got this at Ollie's when they had like, I can't remember how long ago. I want to say it was at least over a year ago. I guess Michael's just sold all of their excess cake things, and I got a whole bunch of latte cakes, and I got a whole bunch of the cloud cakes for $5, which was awesome. But this is the color Pretty Plum. It says it's a bulky 5. It works up like a bulky 5, but it is actually like straight string wise, it is like a light 4. It calls for 6.5 millimeter hook and needles. So I'm using a 12 millimeter crochet hook for this. The pattern actually calls for a 15, and I'm like, I don't have a 15, and I'm not gonna go buy a 15 just for this project, and it'll make it really loose. So I did some altering, some math, and so I used the 12. And it's interesting because the size that I am making was a small, but I should have trusted it to where she had us go under the arms, like to make the thing. I'm like, that's never gonna fit, you know. I've got some arm here. But it actually would have worked out instead of me going extra rows, which I did. So I had to improvise. Yeah. Okay. So here is the sweater. And like, it wouldn't take me very long to revamp it, but I'm like, you know what? This is for me. It is meant to be fun and fuzzy. All right. This is the sweater so far. And I will put it on. So this is made with a whole bunch of half doubles. If half doubles are your thing, this might be the pattern for you. And I was like, I don't know if the neck's gonna be big enough. It is. Like, I mean, it's t-shirt size, that works. This is why I said I probably could have done the smaller size, but I just didn't want it to like be closed off, and like this has give to it, like the way the stitches are. I had to do all of this to make it my arm size, but I'm also liking how it like came down. So I'm like, I'm not sad with the fit of it. I think I'm actually pretty close to being done, and then I can just add the sleeves, but pretty much it's fuzzy and fun, and I'll just, because I have closed it in, it should be a decent sleeve size for mine. I might do some decreases in the forearm section, and I'm not going to make it too long, which happens to be one of my problems with making sweaters, is I'm like, oh, you know, I want it to, you know, definitely come so far, and then like I'll do the reach out and I'm like, oh, that's perfect, and then when I put my hand down, it's like over my hand. I'm getting better at making wearables. Oops, excuse me. I had Sabrina here earlier, and she was just so fuzzy. She is shedding like crazy, and it's just like everywhere. So here is my sweater. And like I said, I probably should have just followed the pattern and done it early, but I didn't want to be restricted. So anyways, I will put this when it's done on my mannequin. If I'm done within the next like day, I might just put a picture in. Otherwise, you will see it definitely in the next finished objects video, because it is almost there, and it did not take long at all. So it was a super fast pattern to make. All right, and this one is the Starry Night Blouse. So this is by Katerina, and I have my 2 panels. Oh no, you don't. My notes are trying to run away. So it's made in 2 panels. And that's where I'm at. And then I was like, and then I have to read it. And I'm like, my brain's not ready to do that. Apparently my brain will make a sweater, but not read the pattern for this. Oh my gosh. So here is, it might be too big. I don't know. I'll have to see how it's working out. It might be right. So you make 2 panels, front and back, then you connect them. And then you fill in the sides and somehow attach it so it's like arms, but it's like it's flowy, and you have like your arms. I think the next section is you square it off a little bit so that you can just connect it here, and then somehow you fill out the front part, like this section. You fill out this section so that it actually goes around your body, and then I think she has ribbing at the bottom. Anyways, we'll see how it works out. This is the yarn that was gifted to me by Mel from Lithalia's Little Hook with Melanie, and I love it. I believe it came from Temu. It's really soft, and like it's like fuzzy and fun. So yes, this is the pattern from that I mashed up with the Mulberry Street shawl, so that it was different, other than just here's another granny square. I make a lot of grannies. Yeah, I do. I have a granny obsession. Okay. So there was that one. That is going to be a shirt. Ooh. I am really wishing that all the hair would go away. It's just attacking me. All right. Then we have my next item. So this is a shawl that you have probably seen from me before if you've been here for any amount of time. This is the Moonstone Shawl by Hooked on Homemade Happiness. This is the yarn I hand dyed most recently. It is the Boucle style 100% cotton from Knit Picks, and I'm loving how it's turning out. You can see the dark bits and the little tiny white bits. Oh, it's just, oh, it's so pretty. I'm really, really, really liking how this is turning out. So I am on to my second cake, just barely. So probably most of this is one whole cake, and then I have the second cake. So wherever the second cake finishes is where I'm going to finish the shawl, and it should be plenty to, because I mean, that's not a terrible size. Like, it's not huge, but one whole extra cake will definitely probably give me maybe mid-arms. So should be good. All right, there we go. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night or whatever it is. I hope it's wonderful.